Hey, good afternoon. It's me. I'm back again. Different location this time. We're at Royal Scot Lanes in Lansing, Michigan. There's been a lot of requests and a lot of interest in learning how to do layouts and understanding layouts for no-thumb bowlers, either two-handed or one-handed. Most of them are two-handed. So we're going to talk about layouts for no-thumb bowlers. Now, when you do a layout for a no-thumb bowler, the most important thing to understand is that the center of the grip is right between the two finger holes. It's not down where it normally is between the thumb and the fingers because there's no thumb hole. So we're going to use that as the center of the grip. Okay? What we did today is we had Scott Matisse throw our Squatch, which is a symmetrical ball, and our Conspiracy Pearl, which is our latest asymmetrical ball. Obviously they're different. One's symmetrical, one's asymmetrical. And we're going to show you how we did the layouts and what we use for the criteria. The most important thing that I found with bowlers that don't use their thumb is it's hard to get them to roll the ball so it misses the finger holes. You got to get your pitches just right, but we'll leave that to your pro shop operator. But a lot of them roll right over the middle finger or between the fingers. We made a small pitch change for Scott today, and the track is 1 inch to 1.25 inches left of his middle finger now. So the axis point on both these balls is 5 over by 1 down. 5 over by 1 down. We're going to have another gentleman doing the video for us, and his axis point is over and up. So that's what we use as a differentiation between our no-thumb bowlers. Is our axis point over and down or over and up? It really doesn't change anything other than the look of the layout. So you have to pay attention to that. So our bowler here, Scott, is over and down, 5 over by 1 down. In both these cases, the pin is approximately 4 inches from his positive axis point, and the white piece of tape is used to denote his positive axis point. The Squatch, being a symmetrical ball, we don't have to find a place for the locator pin, which is the mass bias, or we also use the term PSA. Because when the ball is spun to find the PSA, because of the physics of it, you're going to draw a line from the pin through the center of the grip, and on that line, 6 3/4 inches from the pin, will be where the PSA is on a symmetrical ball. On an asymmetrical ball, we can move the PSA around. It gives us another tool in order to change the ball motion. A couple other factors we'll talk about. The higher the pin is above the line from the ring finger to the PAP, the higher the pin is above that, the sharper the break point will be. The lower the pin is to that line, don't go down to that line, but the lower it is to that line, the smoother the break point will be. So both of these, the pin is 2, 2.5 above the line from the ring finger to the PAP. The other control we have on the Conspiracy, it's an asymmetrical ball, is how far is the PSA, mass bias, locator pin, how far is it from the PAP? In this case, it's 5 1/4. So we try to keep that distance from the locator pin to the PAP between 5 and 6.5 inches. What does that do? Well, if you get closer to 6.5 inches, the distance from the PAP to the locator pin, you're going to get a little smoother break point. The closer you get to 5 inches, the more you're going to get the ball to have a more dramatic break point. So this one's designed to be 4 by 5. So this one is going to have a sharper break point because the Conspiracy is a continuous asymmetrical. Now, if I had a slash or a strong asymmetrical, I would tend to move that PSA a little further away. We get questions about why, when we do the PSA, do we use the distance rather than the angle like we do on our other layouts? Well, it's easier to do it with the distance on a no-thumb ball, but we try to choose the right distance. Same thing with the pin to PAP distance. Let's talk about what's acceptable and what's not. We try to avoid, on pin to PAP distances, Because of the high rev rate of no thumb players and the amount of rotation they can get on the ball, we try to avoid distances between 2.5 and 4 inches. Now that's a sweet spot for a lot of no hand or lesser handed bowlers that use their thumb. But when you do that for a no thumb bowler, the ball gets twitchy. And it's pretty hard to control the break point. So if I'm doing layouts for no thumb bowlers, I will use pin distances between 1 and 2.5 inches or 4 to 5 3/4 inches. Those are my two sweet spots. The closer I get to either 5 3/4 or 1 inch, the smoother the ball is going to be. When I go towards 5 3/4 inches here, I'm going to get end over end roll and smooth. When I go towards 1 inch, I'm going to get less flare, less hook, but a smooth break point. When I want to get more aggressive, 4 inches, if it's in the 4 to 5 3/4 range, or 2.5 if I'm between the 2.5 to 1 inch range. Now, the 2.5 to 1 inch pin to PAP distances are what we call our short pin layouts. They are a little bit less flare and they're allowed to be a little bit more direct with the target. But if you're hooking it, 4 inches will give you your stronger break point. 5 3/4 will give you a more controllable break point. Well, here are Alex's two balls. And Alex has a lot of hand, so we got them polished pretty good. And we did, what I want to show you here is the short pin layout we did on this ball. Alex's axis point is 5 7/8 over by 1 1/4 down. We thought it was going to be up, but when we adjusted his pitches so he threw it good, it went down. But with Alex, we don't want to make too strong a ball motion. So this pin is closer to the line from the ring finger to the PAP, because the closer it is, the smoother the motion is going to be, and it's also further from his PAP. This one's about 5 inches. So this is 5 inches from his PAP and about 1.5 inches above the line from the ring finger to the PAP. Again, symmetrical ball, CG's right here. Okay. But then after we drilled that ball for him and we knew how much it hooked, we came over here and we're going to go with this asymmetrical ball, which has a little bit of hook potential, and we did a short pin layout. This is 1.25 inches from his PAP. Now, to most people, it would look like the pin is down, but because his PAP's here, it's still at a 45-degree angle up from his PAP. So this pin is 1.25 inches from his PAP, and the PSA is 6 inches from the PAP. So this is a layout that I would use for somebody with a lot of hand. High rev rate, no thumb bowler, I would use short pin layouts. We talk about it on regular bowlers. So put the pin anywhere from 1 to 2.5 from his axis at 45 degrees to the VAL, and that'll keep the pin in the right place. So we started out with this. Alex hooked it a lot, so we polished it. So in order to give him a ball he can use when the lanes are hooking a little more, we went, which we didn't intend to do, we went to the short pin layout here. So we have the asymmetrical with the short pin layout and the symmetrical ball polished with the pin closer to the line from the ring finger to the PAP and also further from his PAP in the 5-inch range. So this is the way you would do balls for no thumb bowlers that have a higher rev rate and that need the ball to keep it on the lane, because they can get out of control if you try to make them hook too much. So we've had two different cases. We had the first one, we wanted to give him a little bit of hand because he had a little more ball speed and a little less hand. Alex, a little slower, a lot of hand, so these balls are more controllable. One thing that's come about since the USBC has decided that we're going to no longer use balance holes after August 1st of 2020 is layouts are critical. You shape your motion with your layout. The old way of, well, you just put the pin about here, throw a hole in it, isn't going to work. So layouts are much more critical in the modern game than they were a year and a half ago. So design your layouts to get the shape you want. Design your layout combined with the motion potential of the ball, so you'll be a happier bowler most of the time. Now, symmetrical balls, the CG doesn't matter much. And remember, we got the latitude of 3 ounces of side weight on either side, 3 ounces finger thumb, or 3 ounces top to bottom. So we got a lot more latitude. Just get the pin the right distance from the PAP and the right distance above the line from the ring finger to the PAP, and put the CG any way you want, because when the ball spins, it's going to spin where it wants to, which is 6 3/4 from the pin on a line through the center of the grip. So we can't manipulate it. We can do more things with asymmetrical balls. So you're going to find out that under the new rules, the USBC specifications, asymmetrical balls are going to be more versatile and more prevalent because of what we can do with them. Symmetrical balls are still going to be good, but where we used to be 40%, 50% symmetricals, most people over time are going to learn that you're going to be about 25% symmetrical balls and 75% asymmetrical balls. Because no-thumbers have higher rev rates and usually have more dramatic break points. So that's what you saw with we'll call Scott Squatch, okay? With Squatch Matisse. So Squatch Matisse's ball. And just to let you know, he used another Squatch last night and he shot 800 with it, so he's quite a player. All right, thank you for your time, and I hope we were able to help you with this. That's how I handle the two-handers.